Oh, hi there. If you're like me and Jay and Sean, and you just finished Dungeon Crawler Carl, A Parade of Horribles, and you're thinking, boy, what do I read next? Well, you're in luck. We've got a bunch of recommendations for you today. But before you guys continue, we do this all the time, so if you hit the subscribe button and like and comment and let us know what you guys want to read, it definitely helps the channel. So let's get started. First up on the list is the first book in the Bobiverse series, We Are Legion. So the reason why I think this one would connect with a lot of the Dungeon Crawler Carl fans is its sense of humor and some of the philosophical questions that this book asks. A guy named Bob sells his brain to some tech company to be cryogenically frozen, and when he wakes up, Earth is in turmoil, and Bob has been uploaded. Bob has been uploaded to some database, and he realizes that he can clone himself. So he clones himself, and a bunch of Bobs start running around developing their own personalities. If you like Carl because he's relatable, you're going to love Bob because he's just as relatable. And you're going to love all of the crazy shenanigans that he goes through, and it has a lot of emotion, and I think it'll strike a chord with a lot of Dungeon Crawler Carl fans. So that's our first recommendation, is We Are Legion, the first book in the Bobiverse series.
I'm Jay, and one of my favorite things about Dungeon Crawler Carl is the humor and just the setting. The setting was fantasy. It was a lot of fun the entire way through. Now, if you're into the humor and the setting, the book I got recommended for you is Kings of the Wyld by Nicholas Eames, and we actually interviewed Nicholas Eames not too long ago. Check that out when you're done with this video. Kings of the Wyld takes a spin on those 70s rock bands and just has a ton of fun with it. It does not take itself seriously in the slightest. We recommended this book as the book that you could give to your dad and he'd enjoy it, right? So this book, ton of fun. There are huge stakes, but it never feels too serious. It's an epic fantasy that feels like a D&D campaign. It's a ton of fun, and you should check it out.
The Legend of is one of the series that I recommend listening to or reading right afterwards, is because it's a nice, simple, fun little comedy book just to enjoy. Sometimes we need a nice little reset. For me, this was my nice little reset. I truly recommend listening to this book or reading it. I listen because I don't know how to read. You have this cool little waffle wizard, as well as you have other characters like Francis and other wonderful characters, Steve. And to be honest, it's a really nice little simple book just to start with. We had an interview with him a little bit ago. I recommend listening to that interview because I was a little fun in that too.
My next recommendation is going to be Joe Abercrombie's The Devils. If you love Dungeon Crawler Carl because of all the characters that you meet and all of the dynamics between all the characters, I think this is a good book to start. You have a bunch of these like classic horror villains. You got a vampire, you got a necromancer, you have the Pope hiring a bunch of evil people to do a deed that the Pope needs done, because sometimes holy work requires unholy deeds. So this book's got a lot of humor. It's very unlike a lot of other Joe Abercrombie's books, and so it's a perk. If you like the humor in The Devils, you can move on to The First Law, which I think is probably an even better series. And also check this out, this book, check that out. We got it signed by Joe Abercrombie himself for the Amiibros. So that's pretty neat.
For my next book, I got another lit RPG because I feel like it'd be wrong to talk about Dungeon Crawler Carl and not bring up another lit RPG. We got He Who Fights with Monsters. He Who Fights with Monsters is a lot of fun. It's a zero to hero book where you have your main character who comes from middle management and starts fighting monsters, cannibals, all sorts of different fantasy creatures within his first day of reawakening in this world. You'll have a lot of fun with this if you had fun with Dungeon Crawler Carl. A lot of people think this is the lit RPG to read. It's, to a lot of people, their favorite lit RPG. Shirtaloon or Travis Deverell, he does not miss here. I'd definitely pick it up if you haven't yet. Also, there's a hamster.
Shadow of the Gods. The reason why I recommend this book, I am currently listening to this book right now. And the reason why I like this book right after the Dungeon Crawler Carl series is because I like the monsters. I like that environment that the crawlers are in during the book series. This one has the same mentality, only just in Norse mythology. So this is a lot more serious. It's a lot more like hardcore fantasy. But as I'm listening to this book, it was just having that vengeance, that blood, just making that, you're just like, man, I just kind of want to listen to something way more intense. This is what I wanted. I wanted something a little more intense. I love the comedy, but I also wanted something just a lot more just almost like in a Punisher-like style. And this is what you get with this particular book in the series. So this is what I recommend right afterwards. Orca is becoming one of my favorite characters in this book. And I just love not only that, but these are cool stinking covers for like art styles. These are really cool covers. So like, yeah, that's a little person right there fighting this huge monster. Awesome. So I recommend listening and reading to these series.
One more book that we don't actually physically have here, but is written by the same author, Matt Dinniman, is Operation Bounce House. I want to make it very clear, this book is not as fun as Dungeon Crawler Carl. If you want a serious book written by Matt Dinniman, this is a good one to read, but you're not going to laugh very much because it's very, very serious for the most of it. We're dealing with themes like genocide and racism and just some really dark topics that he doesn't shy away from even slightly. It is a great book. I definitely recommend it if you're into that. So check it out.
So those are our recommendations for what to read after you finish Dungeon Crawler Carl. We've read a lot of books that people in the comments have recommended, and we want to continue doing that. We enjoy having a conversation with you guys, and we want to make sure that we build this community up. So make sure you like, comment what you think we should read next, because these are our recommendations to you, and we want to know what you have for us. Subscribe, comment. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.